On that mic, I think if we were gonna talk, we can just hit it, but I think it should work for catching everybody there. I'd like to call the September 18th, 2025 Parks and Recreation Commission work session to order. Or maybe, technically, maybe you should call it to order.
Okay. I'd like to call the September 18th, 2025 Parks and Recreation Commission work session to order.
You can introduce me.
And I'd like to introduce Parks and Recreation Director Best.
Hey, everybody. So today, really what we're going into, we're gonna go over to our CIP plan. We do this every year. So this is, to be honest, almost verbatim, the same thing I posted last year. I'm gonna read it because it's short, but capital projects usually exceed $35,000. The Parks and Recreation Master Plan is an example of a capital project the administration is currently working on. The current general fund plan for FY26 to FY30 is attached. Approved items from FY25, such as Parks and Rec Master Plan and tractor replacement, are no longer included. I'm not saying those are all completed, like as we don't have a new, oh, we do have a new tractor and attachments. That's another one that we're looking to get approved for FY26 is, I'm gonna restate myself here. This memo aims to inform the commission of the current plan and review the project priorities for the FY27 to FY31 plan. So on this one attached, this is the current year. So we're in FY26. The tractor replacement and the Beaver Creek replacement have been, pavilion have been like approved. We're in FY26. So these are approved. And then we're looking at from 2027 to 2031, what we're gonna add in there. So everything from FY27 on is kind of what we currently have, but the tractor replacement and the Beaver Creek Pavilion, I did not address that well in my memo. So things like the master plan and the tractor replacement, the master plan's ongoing, the tractor replacement, that bid is still ongoing. It has, I'm taking that, we have 2 tractor replacements, so this is where I'm shooting myself in the foot. One tractor replacement has been purchased and we have all the attachments and it's great. We bought it used from the golf course. We had some pivots. We were able to get more attachments. That was great. And then we had a second tractor replacement so we could get rid of a lawnmower and get another of the same tractor. That funding has been approved as July 1st. So we are looking actively this year. We will write a bid to buy a tractor and several attachments. As is broken down later in your packet, it goes into more details of what we're going to purchase. The Beaver Creek Pavilion replacement, that has also been approved. So that's something we'll be looking at this winter. Currently, another previous thing that was approved that's no longer on here is like Municipal Shelter 3. We have funding approved for that. We are creating a bid for that. And we have designs and we're hoping to use the same designs in the Beaver Creek replacement. Those are just ongoing and just going on our public works list as we release bids throughout the year.
Sorry, 5 o'clock, I'm really late.
Well, so I'm sorry for the confusing part in there. So on this list, FY26 has been approved. And those projects are going forward. Some of our, those 2 FY25 projects are either completed or in progress. Another previous one is a pavilion that was approved, and that's still in progress as well. Currently, we have for upcoming, so what council will be voting on when it goes forward to council, it'll look like FY27 to FY31. And then what we could slot in there. You know, we have relocation of Parks and Rec to Dobbin spec. That's been one that's been kind of getting pushed around and pushed back as funding sources have been explored. We have Old Town Playground equipment replacement. This one has gone through several renditions of, it's been in 3 phases. It's got slammed into 1 phase. It's been pushed back a couple years. And then multi-purpose facility roof design. This is something our public works director put in there that I think is very well needed. We need to look at the roof of our ice rink, the multi-purpose facility. If you could be, I think we needed a tour. We went through there, and if you're in there on a windy day, you can see the roof move. I think.
You can actually, debris falls off the roof, little foam chunks.
Down the ice all the time.
So that's something that,
But it's-
Yeah, and we've done a lot of investment in that facility recently with like spraying it to keep the roof long, like stretching the life of the roof. Because there were studies done before my time, but I think this is a very appropriate thing to have planned in there for FY '28. And then a drop curtain for the Kenai Rec Center. I think came up in a previous discussion, like, hey, if we're gonna do a drop curtain, why don't we just also, maybe that's a good time to replace the soundboards. Like, since we're in there doing the roof on there, the soundboards I remember last time we toured that facility, but they're original to the building.
We did, whatever, just like 2 months ago or whatever.
Yeah, and you can see
The ones that are
insulation.
behind the bleachers, kind of?
Yes, insulation's hanging out, and if you try to push it, it's just got dust, debris, probably
Probably
sweat.
asbestos or something, yeah.
Well, I actually think that building I've been told that building was tested at a certain point in time and it hit past the date when asbestos was common. Only if we had an expert in safety here.
Do you know when it was built?
80s. I think it was right on that.
Right
Yeah.
on the cusp.
That was with not our last building official, but our building official before that,
Yeah.
which we are currently recruiting for.
Again.
Yes. All right, so I think I went through all of theirs. One of the things that did come up last year that I want to comment on for this plan is we talked about not adding a whole bunch as we are developing our master plan, which we are in the middle of, which, we did a workshop in April and then we did a community survey. I don't know the exact numbers, between 80 and 100, that we had survey respondents that we're taking in, and we're currently reviewing internal documents with the contractor. And eventually that's going to come forth to this body and then to council just to review and get insights on. I believe the contractor is planning to come through and do that. But those are examples. So this is kind of the opportunity to say, like, what do you guys see here? I'm gonna go ahead and. I don't think I added a lot of general fund stuff in there just so you could see. This is not really what we're voting on to recommend to council. What we're voting on is the things such as tractor replacement, pavilion, Beaver Creek Park Replacement Pavilion. Construct a new pavilion at Beaver Creek Park, just located off Spur Highway, Parkside Drive. This would be a wood frame structure consistent with others similar within the city.
Question for you.
Yep.
I don't know if you wanted to include the design costs that are not on your first spreadsheet. So if you go back. Yeah, on that spreadsheet, there's design costs for both the the relocation and the roof project. So they are not on there.
But,
So I don't know if you just want to include that.
drop curtain in the Kenai Rec Center to add to divide this basin.
Sorry, relocation of Parks and Rec and the multi-purpose facility roof.
Oh, okay, not the drop curtain.
Yeah. So both have funds in FY '28 for design.
Oh, then FY '29. That might be something that was added new in there that I didn't note in my new plan.
Yeah. So,
No, thank you for that.
yeah, the $150,000 for the relocation design and then $75,000 for the
No, so thank you. I'm gonna just note that in there. I missed that.
I had a comment for Terry and Lee about just the layout of the master plan. It's hard to pull that out, so
No, and I kind of,
it can be kind of tough to pull out. I don't think it's very,
well, and that's why I usually make this little chart, what I didn't do well this year.
I was just gonna say, I like the chart, I mean,
But-
the
yeah,
thing you did.
Tyler's just
Yeah.
way easier.
No, but I should have shrunk it. I missed those things to plug in there because they weren't in there last year. And these actually should have been in there I don't believe these were in there last year. So they might have got added in, hey, we're gonna do a design and then we're gonna implement that. So-
50,
150 and 128 before relocation. Yep. And then multipurpose roof has 850 and 29.
And 75 and 28.
And that 75, oh.
Yeah, 75 is on there and 28. So we're,
Sorry.
FY '29, we're spending a whole bunch of money.
Yeah.
Again,
For good
this,
reason.
another thing, this is a living plan. Like, what we do is we usually recommend, I know like formerly we had a recommendation to do a schematic design for a sports complex at the, at our sports complex to see what it looked like to consolidate all fields there. That was a recommendation of this body. And it went forward to council, and then administration also reviews this, our public works director, our city manager. And basically, this is a big puzzle, where like, there's so much funds here, there's so much funds here, and there's little shifts that have to happen. And what our city manager and myself discussed was, hey, a schematic design would be great, but you know what would really support a schematic design was, let's do a master plan to do that. Like, let's get a master plan together, let's get community feedback. And that was where administration took that recommendation and told council, hey, this is what the Parks Commission did, but we think this supports a really good goal of the Parks Commission. And it was an after the fact discussion. So, you know, we have to make a plan.
To make a plan.
Yes, but things like having that master plan will go beyond that. And I think that will also help us secure outside funding sources, such as grants and things like that. That is a tool we don't have. This is the only one. And you'd be like, well, hey, you said in your $3 million park shop relocation, you want ADA access. There could be grants. I'm just making that up.
Right.
Right.
But it really does provide long-term funding opportunities. Like, hey, we're trying here. We have a 20-year plan that says X, Y, Z. So thank you, Councilmember Kinsella.
Thanks for letting me interrupt you.
So do you guys have any questions about the projects? I kind of did a quick rundown there of them as they go over. In the Old Town Playground, you can kind of see some of the topics. I think in the tractor one, it says the project will replace aging equipment, a tractor and various attachments, including a wide area mower deck and snow removal components are anticipated. Price will also include a purchase of a trailer to haul equipment around the city. That is a nice thing to purchase when you buy equipment, is to get a trailer to move around. We have a Bobcat trailer, but it's a little much for this. And then we have small trailers, or two small trailers. Having a good size like landscape trailer would be very beneficial for us. You may see our crews in the summer, and we are riding four-wheelers like they're ATVs. Not crazy, but just like around the city. Golf cart. We're riding like golf carts.
I thought you meant you were riding them like you stole them.
Yeah,
I
no,
was like, oh, okay.
I get reports sometimes.
I know.
No, we have a very good training program where we teach everyone to drive our equipment safely, and we do a good job with that. So I guess this would also be, one of the things I'd be curious about, and that has been brought forth to my attention, would be on our drop curtain. It's like, is this 100% necessary to have a full-on drop curtain? Are there alternatives? Are there dividers you could pull out? Is there a way you could cut that cost and then do the soundboarding with that all in one? I would be very interested to hear the commission's thoughts on that.
They make those fold-out ones, but then I think those might have more of an installation cost because they kind of stow away into the door.
Oh, like an air wall?
Yeah,
Yep.
or into the wall, onto the door. So that, maybe those are cheaper to buy, but the construction cost would be greater. But, is there ways you could think about some options to offset the cost? What if we offered to let a business buy, give us $1,000 and we'll put your logo on here?
Sorry, I'm thinking on this. So with that, I know where we run into weird stuff with that as being a government entity. Like if, this could be added to the fee schedule because the business gets to advertise. I think it would have to be added to the fee schedule, but that could be a thing we also look at. I know we've talked about, again, this is operationally, hey, why don't we have banners in here? And then it falls into that line, should we be going out and soliciting businesses that already pay property tax?
Yeah, but it's kind of but you have banners for sports teams, for example, that only represent like KCHS. in another one of your facilities. I'm
And-
just
oh, no.
devil's advocating.
No,
here.
and that's where my example is from though, because all that money for those banners go towards the KCHS Booster Club.
Right.
So that would be like, oh, hey, do the Kenai River Queens want to try to enter into an MOU? And I'm
Yeah,
not saying it
or
would,
pickleball people or whatever.
and I'm not even
Yeah.
saying, like, so you're not even like saying like, hey, like, are you saying offset cost or just benefit, say, the Kenai River Queens, they want to enter into an agreement?
Well, I was thinking offset costs, but
But-
I mean, if you wanted to find a way to make it go to, involve one of the nonprofits that use the facility, I mean, that's a different conversation. It's maybe I would say up to them to
Mhm.
instigate. I was just thinking a way to offset the cost.
Okay.
Is this electronic drop curtain? How does it operate?
Yeah, that was the rough price of adding an electronic drop curtain. I utilized the funding amount that I think Alaska Christian College used at their facility.
So we just push the button in the wall and it kind of goes.
Yeah, it
If
hangs
the
and
batten-
then-
The batten stays up there.
Yep,
Yeah,
so it doesn't interfere with anything.
I think those have been the same since we were in like middle school.
Well, I will say, like our hoops, usually have the electrical one. We are very old school and we have hand
Right.
crank hoops, and the end hoops don't work.
Well, put that on the list
There
for
you
FY 27, 28.
But I guess then these conversations are always, the only thing I felt like I did last year was like, I value these conversations, but we're doing a master plan, so let's hold up. But I also want to know, is there anything you guys saw that stuck out? That was like, oh, at the rec center, all your backboards on your basketball hoops were broke. Or at the MPF, we noticed X, Y, Z. So and this is where I can also choose to input stuff and seek your guys' support. But I think kind of what I'm holding on is holding to what we have and our public works director who's added stuff and then really seeing what the master plan comes out with. So I don't mean to have another delay year where I'm not coming in here, because I think 2 years ago, I came forward with the commission and I had, I think, pictures and stuff up on the whiteboard with these tractor replacements. Because we had no plan to replace, we have 3 small tractors that all serve very different features and a whole fleet of mowers, and like, oh, can we start replacing, we don't have a replacement plan. And it was like, okay, what can we do? What would be a good beneficial tractor that is, and this tractor had all these benefits. And then I kind of pitched it, like, this would really benefit me. And I kind of asked the commission's support to bring it to council. But I think one of the most vital things I got from the commission was, which got funding moved forward for the master plan, was former Commissioner Cassina really was like, hey, we've always talked about having a sport complex. We should add a schematic design. And I was like, that's an amazing idea. And we changed it, but. So I think some of those big things that if there's anything anybody from the community has mentioned, and like I said, this will get audited by administration and go through council. But I really do think that master plan, once we get it, will be a really good guiding document. And a way for me to be like, I'm presenting this because we've approved this master plan. And then if I miss something, you guys could be like, I'll give you a sneak peek of, hey, we want to improvements at Dobbins Beck Pond. Like, oh, should there be a dock there? Should there be like a large improvement there where we could clear out more by the pavilions and you can oversee the pond better? Do we want to see the pond improved where there's an aeration feature so there's less mosquitoes? Like they have, I was just at Valdez and they had a pond like that was there. So these are things where I would lean on you guys, but as of this year and last year, I've been kind of really holding back and letting that master plan kind of develop.
When is that supposed to be done? October? No.
Beginning of FY 20, or not, beginning of 2026. Yeah,
Beginning of calendar year.
yes, beginning of calendar year. So I don't mean to make this I don't want to make this conversation to be invaluable, but I think it's an open discussion of, usually there's talks of, something that got taken off this plan once upon a time was lighting at the ski trails, because that was talked about, but it was a high amount. And then in this breakdown, there's a breakdown here somewhere that says like funding sources in this document, and then it talks about grant funding, city funding, and it kind of goes into, and it was like, oh, this is all going to be grant funded, and we didn't have any active thing found. So like something like lighting the ski trails is more useful to have in a long-term master plan. So as we can find things that fit that piece of the puzzle. And those are things that I know members of the commission have had constituents and, I don't know if it's constituents, because you guys are appointed, members of the public give feedback on like, hey, why isn't this going on? Like, we had a member of the public ask about, hey, there was once upon a time a bridge that was gonna go across the creek at Municipal Park. And there was a very small, this was with the previous director, it was like $80,000 was allotted. Like, we're gonna build a bridge to span the creek at Municipal Park. We'll eventually get you over to Little League fields. But there wasn't a trail developed at the end of it. And then our former director was like, oh, I've built a bridge like this. This is about 1/10 of the money that it would actually take. So that got removed kind of for those reasons. And at one point in time, there was money appropriated, when there was a lot of COVID grants out, there was pro rec center like grants that were like, hey, or pro recreation and parks grants out there. And we allocated $80,000 to do that bridge project. And our director was like, there's no way we can do this for $80,000. So then we had to write a resolution to council saying, hey, this isn't gonna work, let's use this money, and that's how we redid our gym floors. Because that was there was like 10 projects identified for that money. And then I think in the next discussion, it's like, hey, we need to just take this off, because this isn't gonna happen unless we ask for $800,000. So if you guys think a bridge would be awesome in Municipal Park, you guys could ask to add that in there for $800,000 or.
I think we need to do some repairs of our existing stuff. before we-
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, the multi-purpose facility, I mean, it's on here for a good chunk of change in FY '28 and '29. But it's still just the roof. And, maybe selfishly, but my kid was a figure skater and had no access to summer ice, and even our hockey kids have access to limited summer ice in that facility. And if there was a way to put invest in it a little more so that it was, usable year round, by athletes, I mean, one, it's gonna be a good place for kids to be. Two, it's gonna give our kids a little bit more of an edge, a competitive edge when they're competing against kids in other communities that have access to summer ice. And if there's something available for the community to be doing often too. I mean, my kids are grown, but when they were younger and they were doing Friday night lights, my kids dug that. Like, that was the coolest thing ever. And to be skating in the summer, and I think if we looked at a way to invest in the MPF, and I know it's gonna be expensive, because that building's got a lot going on. But instead of maybe Band-Aiding it, I mean, what would it look like to, figure out what would it cost to make this? What would a pie in the sky, version of that building, that facility cost us? And then maybe nickel and dime it down a little bit, the things that we don't wanna live without, the things that maybe we can add in and think about later. It's a building that is central in this community and used by a lot of different people and could be used by more. So I don't know if that's something we could think about adding in. I do think that waiting for the master plan is probably important for making any really, really big moves. But if you're asking us for input on something that we want to see, MPF would probably be towards the top of my list.
So some kind of MPF improvement. And then, just so you know, this would come forward at our next meeting to vote on as a recommendation. And so there could still be edits made. And then one of the things regarding the MPF is we've been exploring our options to maintain that building. Because have you heard about the report that we did? In like before me, actually, but the city did. So when they used to have like butcher flaps down and they were doing some.
I did, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I remember, and then we did waiting on the final draft from the contractor, but Saldana did an analysis of their building, and we took that engineering firm and actually split some costs to save some money. We had to throw some money
And there's
together.
there's an issue with the compressor.
I think step one on that is figuring out what we're gonna do with our compressor, because our compressors run on R22, which there's a,
Right.
but I put down, by the way, I put down MPF improvement. I feel like it's,
I noted that.
yeah. But the compressor, because it runs off a chemical called R22.
Right.
And there's a finite amount of that.
Right.
So without that, we don't have ice at all. And then regards to the building, I'd have to reread the assessment. They touched some bases on that. Like in the building in its current condition, it has a humidity level and a good degree level that is an NHL standard that probably would not promote putting summer ice back in that building without insulating it, adding a sprinkler system.
Right.
And then there we
But I
lose.
guess that's what I mean when I
Yeah.
say pie in the sky.
Pie in the
What would
sky.
it cost us to invest in this facility?
Yep.
Because if we don't know, we don't know.
And then I think from the city's component, because that is a conversation we've had, and again, that's why I put down MPF improvement, is we operate this ice rink probably the most affordable you can operate an ice rink, with having like a contractor there, and then, you know, having it, you know, it's not figure skater friendly.
Not in the least bit.
Okay.
No. No. And I went rounds about that when my kid was in that age. But there's still other kids figure skating. You know, my kid's outgrown that, but there's other kids that are in that same boat now.
But I would say one thing I think is cool, and I don't know how we'd ever get the ice isn't as nice for figure skaters, but that I think it hits home for a lot of people that have used the facility. I'm not a figure skater, I'm a
It is
former
when
hockey
it's in
player.
it, though.
Yes, but I was going with, there are people, and we've been marketing this more too, is, hey, if there's nothing scheduled in this building, you can treat it like a lake and just come skate.
Yes, and I know that, I
But-
do know that, like, when my kids were high school age, and probably yours too, would go do stuff over there late at night, when, as long as somebody wasn't naughty and got it locked up. Not the one, not my kids.
I chewed tobacco in high school. It was not a legal thing, and people
Spit
spat
on
on
the
the ice, and it got shut. And then we were like, even as dumb 16-year-olds, we shouldn't do that. Like, we figured it
It's a
out.
learning opportunity.
I mean, we shouldn't have been doing what we were doing, but if kids were drinking or doing anything dumb, it was like, what are you guys doing?
Well,
We're
and
here
the
to
majority
skate.
of the kids that are out there skating there, because it's pitch black at Dobbins Beck Park, you know, they're skating, they're not doing other things. Like, I think that it's a legitimate risk eliminator or reducer, and I say that as somebody that's worked in criminal justice for 2.5 decades.
Better lighting at Dobbins Beck Park?
Maybe we do something about all the homeless people that
Well-
charge their phones and bathe in the porta potties first.
Well, that's the other thing. We also have,
Because I drive by there every day.
that might be an idea that's not even, again, where I take in ideas that are obvious, but that might not even be a capital project. That could just be, we have light poles there. We have power there. We have lights there. I think logistically, it's almost impossible to change one of the lights. We might have to rent a piece of equipment. But hey, this isn't adequate for skating. Like, it's just dim enough to be dangerous.
Yeah, and you
and-
guys do a lot of work with jamming it and plowing it.
Oh, you
and-
just wait.
and
When
you
this
do the
tractor
pond
gets
hockey
out there,
stuff.
it's gonna make it way better.
And we
So
watched the whole thing when the truck went in the, when the truck went through the ice years ago. Well, it was right across the street from my office, so we were watching the whole thing unfold.
Entertainment.
We don't-
Yes,
We don't bring full-size vehicles on the pond
not
anymore.
anymore, I
After
know.
Bob?
In my neighborhood, we get to watch them go into the inlet.
Yeah, I say I have driven a F-250 with a big water tank on a lake before, and it's really fun when you hear that. But also, it's a settling pond. I think there was people, Merwood neighborhood had a pond like that they were jamming or plowing, and a truck went in. So it's not that, we double up. There's ice standards where it's like, you could fit a full-size car. That's when we put a four-wheeler.
Well, and you're talking about the one on Merwood, like, I know residents in Inlet Woods, there's that pond at the end of Channel. We always just called it the dirty pond. I don't know what its real name is, but neighbors plow that and like hand zam it as long as they can in the
Mhm.
winter. I mean, adding something like that to the list, like what you did with the pond at Dobbin Spec, you know? Because that's relatively new. I don't want to say facility, but there are facilities there, but Dobbin Spec Park itself's relatively new. I mean, investing in these little areas in neighborhoods that people are spending time at, that one, whatever, maybe there's one in DFE, I don't know, but. I mean, if you've got the equipment already and you're doing Dobbin Spec,
That's actually one area where we're noted, where we don't know if there's a demand, but like in VIP across the bridge, we have an outhouse out by South Beach, but we don't have like I'm gonna use, what's a good park here? Not even Beaver Creek. I'll use, is anyone familiar? Oh, so there's the dog park in Soldotna. There's a little park next to it called Aspen. It's on Aspen. They call it Aspen Park.
yep.
That's been a little pocket park my whole life. I grew
I
up
know
down the
exactly
road from
which
it.
one you mean.
Even having something like that there with a picnic area in some but I think that's mentioned in the master plan, it looks at underserved areas and some like radiuses and stuff that I am really excited about. But I got new skating area, I got better lighting at Dobbinspec and MP. Again, I don't know if when I look into these, if these will hit that $35,000 mark, but these are, again, the conversations where it's like, oh, that could be like a special project. Beautification Commission's a good example. One thing they've talked about for years is, hey, murals. We would love to see some murals up. I think I finally found somebody who gave me a quote. It's not a capital project, but it was kind of in their work goals to like really dive into that. And I was like, oh, I found somebody and I think we talked about different locations for them and what we could do. So I'm really excited as that moves forward. And that resulted in this conversation.
Since I recommended that, I'll just give you some background. There was a discussion about having artists have sections of Old Town Kenai, kind of a loop near Veronica's, where they could paint sections of the road as kind of
The road,
yeah, to generate some additional
Traffic.
traffic for people to go look at the road and like just go to Old Town.
that's why I was asking to clarify,
And-
because usually I was thinking, oh, it's gonna be on a building.
Yeah, but that was the other thing, was talking about having local artists basically sign up to paint like electrical boxes or items like that. Just to make things not brown and gray and green everywhere.
No, I think the electrical box idea is super great.
Brown and green and smoky white.
Well,
Yeah.
and then if you talk about ways to draw traffic to Kenai, I mean, that would be something super fun. The visitor center could have like a mural scavenger hunt, like find the one with Martin Luther King Jr., find the one
Yeah.
with pickles on it,
Yeah,
I wonder, this is just me, I spend a lot of time down on Kenai Beach.
Mhm.
And I don't know what the rules are for driving on that beach. But
You're not
when,
supposed to drive to the left.
in the water.
No,
to the
so.
left,
Oh,
You
to
go-
the
drive
left.
to the right.
I figure the way
And
I walk.
we-
Drive north.
I know we do have year-round signage that's like to the
Yeah.
left, no vehicles.
So I'm up in the subdivision up there, so I come
On like
down.
Toyon?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't get to be on Toyon, but I'm close.
Oh,
I come down the stairs.
okay.
And we walk, usually we go right, but sometimes we go left. It's not left that you're talking about, but the ruts that people leave. I mean, I'm recovering now from a twisted knee because the ruts are like this deep and you gotta, it's not just one little rut, it's like the whole way. And I don't know what the rules are. It seems like they should, if they just went down a little further, then when the tide would come up, it would go away.
Or maybe the tide's in when they are driving, so they
Mhm.
can't.
Yeah, but whatever, to me, it seems like I don't know if we need signage, I don't even know what the rules are. I understand people needing access to their fish sites, but that's not what these people are doing.
No, we get calls frequently of like dirt bikers, but I mean, recreating on the beach, but not,
My dog was almost hit by someone, and she was very close to me.
but then them getting on the dunes illegally and stuff like that
Yeah.
is something we don't like. We get calls about that.
Yeah, kind of seems like it's a kind of a free-for-all on the beach, though.
To the right, there, it is a little bit.
Yeah, So I suppose we can't put up any signs saying, I can't say, my project is put some signs up. Leave us a walking area, just leave you a space to walk.
No, and I think the only thing, and I don't know what happened to these plans, what I put down there was like boardwalk and slash beach. Because there's been discussions of doing some kind of boardwalk along the block.
Mhm.
And I don't think that has been a discussion on the, by the way, and there's,
That was on it's in the beautification. We were talking about that. Just came up.
Why would they put it where it wouldn't get
I don't know.
walked now?
I don't
Because
know.
that's, you've seen all the walls, right, everybody's putting up there on Twenty.
oh, yeah.
When that tide comes in and it's rough out there, it's just smashing against those walls.
I love that vibrating feeling when they're working on
The first couple times I felt it, because I'm up on Fathom, I was like, what's that? Oh, they're working on the walls, pounding into the, yeah.
I had someone who walks Ryan's Trail quite a bit
Mhm.
ask about why it is narrowing and wondering if it could be widened back out again.
Which one is Ryan?
Where's Ryan's Trail? Is that the one by the cemetery?
From,
It's a very long one in pieces, but it includes,
it goes from
That's the one that loops around from
by the
behind
youth center.
KPYF and then around to,
mhm.
okay, and then
And
it
it
comes
comes
out by
all the-
HEA
well, it
and then
actually,
goes out again
Oh, with
behind.
all the little exercise.
it actually comes out almost to the spur highway.
Yeah, it comes out, actually, it ends on the Spur Highway.
Correct.
Right across from Leaf Hansen Park.
Yeah,
Right,
because it loops
right.
through that, okay.
Anyway, they said they had been, and this was a senior that was talking to me, said that they'd been walking it for a lot of years, and they used to be able to walk side by side, and it's becoming so narrow now, it's almost difficult in parts for two people to walk side by side. And I went and walked it with her, and I would agree that parts of it are fairly narrow.
No, and we have a lot of maintenance we have to do on Ryan's Creek.
Okay.
And, I will say, part of tractor replacement was we're hoping that this tractor can help with that a little bit too.
Okay.
And we do have some equipment and we do maintenance on it, but it wasn't like when it got first installed. And we are behind on maintenance on the trailers. But
because the brush is encroaching, or?
it's encroaching, and I was told recently by the person who designed it that it was designed to be super shallow. So the trail itself doesn't have a lot of material, and it was to not overhurt the vegetation. But I think that kind of is
It's like
backward.
not very much rock, really.
Yeah, and-
Mostly it's
and-
muddy.
In trail building, even if it was just mud, like, because I'll be honest with you, with keeping D1 gravel on it, I don't know if we can feasibly do that. It might be, we can keep up on it and everything as best we can, but, when you build a trail and you're trying to protect nature, you want to kill everything on that trail. Like, you want it to be a walkable surface, you don't want vegetation to survive. I take that from a principle from trail building on national parks. Like, the joke was, we call, the trail building, the trail maintenance team was called Green Team. And the joke was we just killed trees, because we just go along the path and cutting up trees.
Mhm.
But that has been a focus, and relating it back to the plan, that was one thing we were hoping to improve with the tractor replacement.
And I'll relay that information.
Yep.
I don't know, what part did you or your friend walk? The whole thing?
The whole thing,
The last time that I walked the part behind my office that came out kind of by HEA,
Mhm.
has been a lot of homeless traffic back there, and I definitely see it coming out
Mhm.
by the fence at KPYF. And there's a lot of nasty stuff back there that
Mhm.
probably needs addressed too, but, the homeless populations congregating and living there have made it, we used to walk there around lunchtime every day, and we don't anymore.
Okay.
And probably, I don't know, I don't think we have probably in 6 months, 7 months, because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, and feel free to tell your friends. I'm a very big fan of this with technology. Like, one of the reports we get on that trail a lot is homeless, where we'll usually work with PD to go in there and to walk it.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll go in there first to see if we can see them, where their tent site's set up, and then we'll usually there's usually a sergeant dispatched to that. But I'll use the thing as, I love it, because we're not on the trails every day. I love it when people contact us and let us know of like, hey, this part of the trail is really skinny. One of the things that they did, I think this summer, was by one of our bridges, by Safeway. Someone called and said there was a rut digging out in front of it and it was becoming a trip hazard. So we went in there and packed it. It was like, oh, thank you for letting us know there's a bad hazard, or thank you for letting us know a tree got. I have one
Maybe you
person.
could push that message
Yeah.
through social, because
Yeah.
I think that I would be, and maybe your friend was too, like, I wouldn't feel like that's something that I could call Parks Rec and say, I'm walking on this trail and there's like I wouldn't feel, I would feel like, oh, they're busy,
Oh,
I'll
no.
get to it. So I
I
think if
t-
you put that out there, like, hey, let us know, we have blank number of miles of trails in the city of Kenai, let us know, and so we can keep them pretty or whatever.
No, and
I suggested she come here for public input.
no, but I love that, and I love that idea of like, oh, we should put that out there, because step one of that was what we did. It's more than a year ago now, but before I came on, it was, we all had our individual emails, which, by the way, when you step in and then the director who's been here for 30 years leaves, and then his admin who was here for 5 years leaves, you're not on any of the accounts. You have to go and call. But one thing we did create, and I think other places, we have a parks email. parks@kenai.city.
But put it out, like, tell
No,
people.
oh, no, and
Yeah.
I agree with you, but this is also, I'm letting you guys know too, and I did order a sign this summer that just had park on it, and it wasn't parks. Got that ironed out,
Okay, I'm gonna write it down.
but parks@kenai.city.
And is
But
that you?
that's me and Jenna.
So
So,
it's the department.
yeah, it's our department, we can both respond to it. And what I love about that though is not everyone uses email or uses their phone. They can always call, and I'll get a lot of voicemails where, oh, hey, Tyler, it's Doug. I got this summer. Just wanted to call and let you know by HEA, there's a tree down. And, even if like my team's out there, there was one day I got a phone call 2 days in a row and I forgot to do it. And I was like, you know what? I don't know what's going on with the tree. Someone told me there was 3 trees down. Our yard's right there. I jumped in our Bobcat and just went on a little mission and moved all the trees, and it tore up the trail a little bit, which it might have killed some vegetation. And then we were like, oh, we should go
I got
through.
rid of the tree.
But no, I mean, it might have done a little maintenance on it, and then someone called and complained that the trail was torn. But then we went through there with a planer, and we are experimenting with some of our other equipment to how to maintain that trail better. Parks though, parks@kenai.city. Some people send us pictures, which is great, unless it's really obscure. Someone sent us a picture of a painted rock on the beach that had graffiti on it, and it was just going out to the ocean, and I'm like, I don't know where that is. But someone else reported, hey, someone threw some trash off their bluff. That's technically like in the city of Kenai. That's not us, but that would be, I actually sent it to planning and zoning to go check
You
it
can
on.
get it to the right.
Yeah, and I was able to respond to that person and be like, hey, just so you know, I sent this on to planning and zoning, and that email has been super valuable tool, but I think that's a great message to try to send out a few times a year. Hey, you see anything that's going on in the parks, call this number or email parks@kenai.city.
Yeah, the parks and the trails, yeah.
So somebody had also mentioned to me about your wildflower park,
Yes.
and I went and walked it, and there was a bunch of trash strewn around, there was no receptacle, and there were a bunch of the signage had been pulled off. And I went back again a little bit later, and you had repaired it all.
We listen. When we get told, I think we actually do a really good job of responding.
Mhm.
Our worst time of response is probably during DipNet.
Yeah.
But
For everybody.
but and usually when I get those phone calls, I will call the person back and tell them thank you too. I think that is such a cool thing, and that led to us getting a lot in extension one time. Someone called and was like, hey, there's an old washer, and I was talking to him like, hey, if you have some trash grabbers, we have some neighborhood people that want to get together and walk through it. And if you have trash bags, I'm like, yeah, we'll just leave the trash bags when you're done. We'll come pick them up and take them to the dump or to the transfer station. The borough is always really great to work with there at the transfer station of like, if, we don't try to bring our daily trash there through like when we have dumpsters for that, but they've always been very understanding. We're like, hey, we had a community group that picked up a bunch of trash. Like, okay.
I'll make sure I had this down right, but I may ask them to put it in the newsletter for the seniors, because there's a lot of them that use the various recreation facilities to know that they can call.
No, yeah, call, and again, I think there was one time I had a conversation with the guy, and I told him, like, he called, he's like, what's going on with that tree? I'm like, we removed multiple trees. He's like, it's not where I said it was, and I was like, oh. I'm like, can you like send me a picture and tell me right where you, and they like took a picture of where they went in, and we just had a miscommunication, and then we got it, and he was like,
But you
thank
found
you.
another tree.
Yeah, we found other trees, and I was so happy with myself, like, task complete, crossed off. It's, and I wasn't like, I'll usually call them and be
To
like,
your list then so you could get credit.
You know, and going back to this and the accessibility that Richard talked about with me, you know, we might know where to look up on our phones, on the web, to find
Mhm.
contact information. But just throwing this out there, maybe if there was, say, one of those code things that.
QR?
Yes, QR code at the
Sure.
trailhead, and then, you know, if you see something, please contact us.
here, or like
Yeah,
a
to
quick
make it
one there.
Easy, so that somebody that maybe is from out of town, or they, you know,
No,
don't
and
know
I-
how to get, or doesn't know who maintained this trail.
No,
And then
I
And
really
they know
like
you
that.
want to know that way too, because you're saying if you see something, say something, they don't feel like they're being a bother.
Because we haven't done it yet, but we were exploring, because we had trail brochures that just added to our trash.
Right.
And we were exploring going to a QR code for that, but that's another place where we can add, like, see
Wow.
something, say something, parks here, this phone number. Because we did add it, we made uniform park rule signage. Like, we had it out, but there was different little snippets, like, and it said municipal park, these are the rules. Dobbins Beck Park, these are the rules. Which got hard when someone decided to tear down the sign, and I have 4 spare municipal park signs, but not one that says Dobbins Beck. We changed it to Kenai Parks rules, because they were all pretty consistent. And these are pretty obvious things, like, hey, no drinking, no fires, no overnight camping in our parks, and it has one thing we didn't have was a matching operational hours, and our streets department just went up and put up signs this last year that said, no parking between midnight and 5 AM. And that's just for plowing in a couple different areas, but making sure our signs were congruent with that. But the other thing we added was correct contact info, parks, not park. Parks at Kenai.city, and if those signs ever do go missing, which do happen, I feel like in my conversations, sometimes people take away, wow, people are just vandalizing constantly. I don't think that's the case, but these things do happen. And then we have a sign we can replace with our contact info quick. But I love that QR code idea, because that was not something thought of in like, oh, hey, we're gonna start putting some trail maps up with QR codes. And if you have it linked to a website, you can update that map and change it.
And with the QR code, you can change the information that it gets, right?
You can have it
You
like,
can't change where it goes, but you can change the information
Once it gets
where
there.
it's there, when it gets there.
yeah, so like when we were doing if you look at our trailheads, there's the path to 10,000 steps, which they actually bypass that section of, they use the HEA access road instead of from Dobbins Beck Pond through town down there. The Rotary made a map and we added it in our website that says the path to 10,000 steps, promote health and wellness. You can walk 10,000 steps through Kenai. Here's several parking locations. Here are bathrooms where you could do 10,000 steps through Kenai. We put them on our trailhead with a QR code where people could scan it. And sorry, where I'm going with this is the original thing they gave me was a PDF, and they made the QR code go into a PDF. And if there was ever an update, you can't change it. Like that is linked right to it. So I made the
You can,
QR.
as long as it's the same file name.
Yeah, so what I did though was, for that reason, I just made something on our website that says, it was a web page, like a sub-page of path of 10,000 steps, Kenai.city. I can put whatever image in there I want, and I can add new information in there if anything ever failed. That was a long story, getting back to that point.
Well, and sometimes the only thing that I worry about sometimes with QR codes going on permanent signage is they don't stay free either sometimes. So, that just maintaining that image as your QR code permanently or semi-permanently, that might be a challenge. I mean, even if you just, could you do something like text? Could you come up with a text shortcut, you know, where you can do like text to
I don't know.
1278 or, you know what I mean? You get the little,
That could be a good question for our IT department. Because when I was I've done that with Outlook before at a different work. It was an internal thing. You could text my work line and it would go to my email. And I don't know how that got set up.
oh, to do it like to forward it to like Outlook or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, but there could be to the parks email,
Right,
hey, just text us a picture, we'll get it.
right.
Yeah, I know, I feel like we're getting off topic off the CIP, but again, this is
But
good.
that might cost money.
That could
I
cost
mean-
money. And that could be, but I think that's a valuable, and I just said this is where I get valuable ideas, and I think I've just got a bunch of them.
I just think it's really important to maintain and take care of what we already have invested in before we put too much new stuff on there.
No,
Don't let things be run down and building new, and what we have is
no, well, yeah, like,
falling apart.
we're not saying like, oh, we're not saying let's build a new park right now, we're saying let's take care of this Old Town Park.
Yeah,
And we are saying, one of the expensive things we're looking at is, let's do this and let's do this right with this. Because I think that there are different aged pieces of equipment in that park,
That
and
number made me choke a little bit. That's a lot. For a small, it's a small park. But,
the one in Old Town is like, oh,
Yep.
never
Well-
seen it.
well, I think because it's gated, I think I always thought it wasn't, I never thought we could go there.
well, and I will say, there's there's a certain time too in the day if you go by with all those apartment complexes.
Oh.
I've seen an influx of kids there before. Not
That's
with a lot
good. I
of,
didn't
but
think of that.
there's not great parking there right now. It doesn't, we put a porta potty there. One of the expensive costs would be if we put in a running water bathroom.
I think gosh.
I always take
Sorry,
up more than my
Commissioner Pepper.
fair share.
That's
Um,
why I scoot back. So
yeah.
that so I'm not kicking everybody.
I think another challenge with that
Taking
park
mom home
is,
still.
yeah,
I'm not.
she's
moving.
not losing ground.
I've claimed my space here, so you creep in on it.
Is the school has a playground, basically on the immediate other side of this.
Oh,
park.
Aurora, is that what you mean? Yeah.
So that gets a ton of use as well. So that is always a challenge for,
Is that
Keenan
playground
Parks.
accessible when the school's not open?
every, school district school is accessible to the public at any time. Outside,
Liability nightmare.
can be. There's no shortage of claims we have for it.
We love.
Then we send them
the
to,
school.
then we
Maybe
send
just
it to Bridget for her
Yeah,
department to
maybe
take
use
care
that
of.
away.
Good luck.
Yeah.
And then we get calls 10 years later. Could you tell me the case number? Why did we get this check for $200?
So what we have on this schematic design though, is there are some alternative options, and it was phased between 3 years. And then that could even, is that something you guys would like to see maybe with a little bit of maybe seeing that number reworked, or maybe we see if there's any things we can drop from it? And then break it up as like, hey, because I don't think it's gonna be built in a year. If we do this year 1, year 2, year 3, maybe even year 4, to make that cost spread out a little more.
I don't think I understand what you're talking about, the park?
Yeah, so the total is 1.6 million, but in the original schematic design, it was built over 3 years and 3 phases. And that's what was originally introduced. That's still 600,000 or 500 and something a year. But was really nice about that schematic design is things were put in there that could potentially be removed, and maybe remove some costs. And maybe it's like I said, it was originally built in 3 phases. Now I'm really inferring this out of here, but you bringing up that point of like, hey, we have phase 1, we have phase 1 in FY '27, we have phase 2, we have phase 3. That total is going to equal 1.6. But even if we broke that down to 1.4, and if we're like, hey, you know what? In phase 1, we don't need to worry about planting trees. I'm not saying we wouldn't plant trees. It's like, but maybe some of these things, maybe there are some non-essentials that you could pull and maybe even put in a year 4, that wouldn't even have to guaranteedly get funded, but it's like, by phase 3, through year 3, we'll have a fully completed park. So I mean, that's something I could do with,
Maybe. I
that's
feel like if you're gonna spend it, you're gonna spend it, and, no, I mean, what's
the only,
sadder than a playground you can only look at? I mean, you know what I mean, like if it's always under
Well, no.
construction?
no, and that's where I think phase 1, the phases were built out like that, but we don't have, and I have not found a grant that's gonna get us here. Where I'm gonna find, like, we don't have $1.6 million to just give parks. So I think there could be this number should be broken up into multiple phases. But I would be curious about going through there and auditing sheet and seeing if that total number could change. And you could have a product that's played on.
Or could it be, I mean, there was talk, wasn't it a collaborative project? Didn't you talk about, I don't remember where that was.
Originally, there was some intention to partner with the,
Yeah,
I mean,
and with-
could we ask for some, I mean, collaboration funds? I mean,
And that has been a discussion there. But I think that number is scary to a lot of people.
and, yeah, and I know you said you see a lot of people up there, like in the afternoon and the evening, that live in those apartments nearby, but I didn't know that that was even a public park. And
didn't either.
I went to, when my kids were younger, I mean, we went, at least once a week, we had a little group of us that got together and played, and we went to all the different parks. And we never went there, because I didn't know we could. So I guess all that to say, is that a wise investment of funds if it's for a small group? Or is there something else that we need to do to make it more accessible to the public?
And are the people that are using it, are they in such a way restricted that it's hard for them to get to the other ones? I'm just wondering if there's some funds because of who's using it. I mean, we need to do a little bit of a study of who's using it.
Well, and if Aurora Borealis is right next door, do we need a $1.5 million park?
it's funny to hear some of these conversations, because these are many of the things that prompted us to look at master planning for Parks and Rec because of the discussion. I mean, there's another park that's often talked about on Fourth Ave.
Yep.
And whether or not money wasn't going to be invested in putting playground equipment back into that park. Does it get used? And so those types of conversations led to engaging a third-party company to get feedback from the public about what's important, what is used, what isn't used, like your opinions about this park. Probably not the only people who feel that way. Some
So
people probably feel
Why is there a
opposite.
Right.
fence around that park? There's not a fence around the park on Forest.
I would say with this park,
There's those thingies on.
yeah, there are bollards, but I would say on that park, in the schematic design, we removed a lot of the fencing, but we added some fencing and bollards to be a barrier, just with those roads
Yeah,
there,
it's on-
being
on both
throughways.
sides.
Forest is like even like into the road, but
And do you know what they spent when they redid the park on Forest?
we didn't redo it.
Oh.
The playground, I will say, Green Strip
Municipal park,
Municipal Park.
it was replaced over there in phases.
Oh, I was talking about Fourth Avenue. But
Yeah, no, that hasn't.
Wow,
I-
that's
I-
awfully nice. I didn't think that had been there like that.
No, but
Yeah, it's
I
really
will
nice.
say, since then, costs have changed dramatically. And I think a really good example of it was grant funded, but on Green Strip, we have a brand new playground equipment, not a park, playground structure. And we dug the hole and we did some prep work to make that cost meet. And that was about, I think, just shy of $90,000. And that is a singular piece of a playground equipment.
Interesting.
And also go to Municipal Park, we added a seesaw there. That, we dug the hole.
And
We did the
had-
site
like,
prep.
Yes, I remember that.
And that got really close to $25,000. Really cool piece of playground equipment. It was ADA. We were able, that opened up some doors for us, and it was really cool to add an inclusive piece of playground equipment and replace a really big tree that had to go. That was kind of central to the park. So with that, something we don't even have from the master plan is we have community feedback on it. And I would say, I think what I've seen so far is in support of something like this, but another thing parks are doing, bringing it back to the CIP plan, would be they are looking at getting data from data mining agencies. The state park did it a number of years ago. I think Soldotna just did it. There's a company that's been used called Placer. The thing I want to stress with this is they are not mining the data for, if say we ever went down that route. We're gonna buy this data and go 5 years in the past. Or, we're gonna go, you'd be like, hey, Placer, I wanna spend $30,000 and get all this data. They have it. They've already mined the data. They already have all the data. We wouldn't go out and actively seek it. I know the Economic District did it via MasterCard, but what you're getting is, I know Soldotna just did it, and then, I don't know if it was the Menard Center that did it in Wasilla, or if it was the city of Wasilla, but they purchased it, so you could draw a square around this park and get they have algorithms to try to track, like, oh, if there's someone with a phone, there might be a kid they have stuff where it's not perfect, but there are algorithms where you could draw a circle around City Hall. Like, how many people come to City Hall every day? And it would like track cell phone data usage from Verizon customers or from everybody, I don't know. But would that be something that could be a CIP item?
Well, how many people responded to the master plan questionnaire? Or
Between
survey?
80 and 100,
How many people are there, you know?
7,000.
So I'd bet money that those 80 or 100 had a core issue that they felt strongly about to do that.
Yep.
I mean,
No, and we're using.
that is
we're-
such a minimal, I can't even do the math quick in my head, actually, what 100 is of 7,000.
It's fractions of a percent.
Yeah.
And we're gonna use, and I know we spent money on it, and I think it's a great idea, but I don't know.
Well,
You're
and-
using a fraction of a percent of people's opinions to drive decision-making.
No, and I think our other thing is that we're not gonna claim that we had a statistically valid survey on it. We're gonna say we did a survey, we opened it up to public, we advertised it on the radio, we advertised it on social media, we put signs up in our parks. And then what we also did was we hired a professional, like, planning company to come in and consult and give us a third party's view on, like, this is what we recommend. And compiling years of notes from, not, like, I didn't download all the meetings, but there's been common themes that have come up in meetings and everything. The sports complex is a big one. And that was a question that got put out there, I think, that people did comment on, that I wasn't surprised to see.
Right.
But if you told me, like, what are like the top 5 things that have come up since you started at the city of Kenai, I'd be like, that sports complex the sports complex has come up a lot. And then second to that, investing in the infrastructure we already have, taking care of what we have.
I would think if you wouldn't have to pay anybody or create any surveys, if you just got the number to call out to more and more people, because then you would start getting, I would think you'd start getting calls. And then just what people say. It's like me sitting here, I had to listen for a long time. What are you talking about? What are we doing? And I've been paying attention. So people that are just going about their everyday lives, they know what's affecting them, the tiny little bits. I mean,
Tell you, on council, I would hope that when the master plan is done, that the first group that reviews that heavily and provides additional feedback would be this group, this commission, before any recommendation from the master plan comes to council. That, whether it's we need more statistical data, or we need additional data, or we have opinions as a commission about the results of this, those things would be really critical before that gets moved onto a capital improvement plan that's going to go to council. So hopefully that happens and you guys are going to review that data again. In sometime after February 2026. when it's,
Schedule for January.
It may be.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say, I
that- but
heard
also-
January earlier too,
Okay, but
whatever.
but things also change. Like right now,
Yeah.
we have an internal working group where we're going through the first rendition of it, because they came in and they toured
Yeah.
parks and, data. And we have a lot of interesting thing in Kenai, like our FAA restrictions.
oh yeah.
you know.
Which I think somebody was breaking those the other day. Man, that plane was flying
They do
low,
that in our
right by
neighborhood all
Toy
the
Arm.
time.
Oh, my
Oh,
gosh.
it's a helicopter, we had a helicopter back and forth super low last week.
Yeah, we get the helicopters every once in a while, but,
No, we don't, it was weird.
and those touch and goes, those go right over my roof.
Us too, but I kind of love it.
I like it too, except for, they're training, and they're supposed to keep it a certain height. And when you know they're not keeping it that right height, what else aren't they doing that they should be doing?
I don't care, they can fly over my house anytime they
I
want.
don't care mind
Shelley
as long as they
listens to
stay in the
this
air, I worry about them coming
I think one of their
down.
drones, they broke a drone over the inlet. The Navy, or some Air Force, there was a very expensive drone that got damaged that was flying out of. But yeah, no, I almost jumped on the ground when I was at the Steve Scher Memorial Ballpark, because they went, and then I like looked up and then they were flying straight up.
Oh, the fighter jets, yeah. My husband was trying, he was in our backyard trying to get a video of them, and he said it was just so fast and he couldn't get his camera out. It was like, they were like this, and then they just went,
Snip, so cool.
that's pretty
It's-
cool.
And I have to say, I mean, I grew up in North Pole, I was just home last month, and I was out there, I was in the ag area with my dad, and they were doing their big Black Rapids stuff, and there was like 8 of them at a time, and, I mean, they were, I think, I don't know, I might just be in my head, but I think I could feel like it blow my hair back, like I really truly felt like I was in a field out there, but I really feel like I felt it blow my
They're
hair
trained in
back.
the air.
They were so down low and so loud, and I mean, you can like feel it in your chest, but yeah,
My windows,
like I said, keep on going.
when they're doing
anytime
those
you
touch and goes, my windows will rattle sometimes.
Okay, so I'm gonna reread this list. I got MPF improvement, better lighting, new skating area, development of those areas, which I kind of think,
Or maintenance, I mean, even just maintenance-y kind of, I mean, I don't know that you need to go, I don't know, just if you showed up with the little truck Sam that you guys have that you use at Dobbin Spec, if you showed up for that at the end of channel or whatever, I think that would get the job done.
no. And I think, so operationally, what I would just have to see is like with this new tractor, we know, so what it has
Well,
is,
you've got
You're
a
really
trailer,
excited about
And
that.
you've got a
tractor.
trailer.
trailer, so it won't be
It's a
hard.
very cool tractor.
Yeah.
well, no, with, one of the things that's really nice about it with maintaining ice is it has a front end broom, which is gonna help with our quality so much, that my team has asked, they're like, oh, what if we could do this area or this area too? That could be cool. They've asked about that because they love when people go out and use that stuff. Like we plow let people know. If they don't, we do trail updates on social media. We plow municipal parks so people can go walk. It's a half a mile loop, but you aren't gonna get hit by a car. Just a plow truck that we're driving.
Yeah.
No, we have a blinky light. We follow all the safety regulations. And when it gets bad, we bring in our Bobcat and everything. Let people know about that too, if that comes up though. But if we can get caught up on that, because that's where I think operationally, it's like, if we could add something, we would definitely look at something like that. And that could be really cool.
And I'm just, it would only really need to be a couple times a year. I mean, nobody's expecting like rink quality ice at any of those pond situations, That's not the fun part of skating on the pond.
What's the third one down? New,
It's a new skating area. Oh, right. Oh, on my notes
yeah,
if you can read that upside down, I can barely read it.
new
I said-
something.
I said new skating area,
Oh.
but that was just from operational. And then, that's pond area, I rewrote that down. I kind of put boardwalk and beach, just to kind of have those up in there. And then text this number software, I'm gonna cross this one off. I wrote down Placer during just our conversations, but software can be expensive and that may not even come from parks, that could come from citywide too, really. Like, it would be nice to have a parks number, but I also know we get a lot of calls and emails and texts about different things like, it'd be cool if someone could be like, oh, the plow broke on my street. I don't know. Non-emergency text number, I don't know, but that's something that could come up in a meeting. And I think some of these show example of things that may not tie into the capital improvement plan, but operationally are good. And then some things that could, say the master plan comes out, The master plan is something we'll try to stick to and follow, because it would be approved and adopted. But that also doesn't say things don't come up. Like, hey, you know what? It's not in the master plan, but we'd really like to see, I know this isn't what you said, but a boardwalk from the city dock down to all the new, reconstructed bluff, that bluff, stabilized bluff. Like, that's not our master plan for 25 years, but we'd love to see that added to it. I think that no matter what, this is always living and always changing, and that master plan is a guideline for us and thing to help that parents.
Oh,
Did I miss anything?
Trail maintenance.
I love that you went out and walked the whole trail with your friend. You were taking your Parks and Recs Commission duties so seriously, and I appreciate that. I love that.
was it Marion that you walked with?
No, it was Carrie.
Oh, we run into Marion a lot when we're
Yep.
walking with you.
Last time we met, was this number lower, the 70,000 for the tractor? 'Cause I don't remember it being 70,000. Was that because you added a trailer or my?
No.
What was the previous one cheaper?
Probably got it painted a cool color and put some racing stripes on it.
Oh, it's my face. I got my face decals on it. No,
Best tractor.
I actually think that number has stayed the same.
Has it?
And the previous one was lower. But one of the things we were able to do was, I don't even think we utilized all of the funds for the previous one, because the golf course was selling one that was only slightly used, and we got additional attachments on it. But I don't want to say it. There could have been
Okay.
something
Yeah.
after the fact
Somebody
that we
might-
moved some attachments or something, so I don't want to misquote myself.
And then the drop curtain, was that a recent ad? 'Cause I don't remember us talking about that one before,
That got added last year.
last year.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are the only questions I had.
I love that idea. 'Cause when you did the tour, one of the things you were talking about was like somebody's doing a party and then there's rec, and but that drop curtain would double your usage ability in that same space.
Well, and it's in our fee schedule that you can rent half the gym,
Right.
but, you know,
Did somebody stand there with their arms open?
if me and,
Get off our
like,
Some cones?
Yeah.
I mean, if you, like, say you rent the half the gym for a birthday party, and me and Savala rent it for rugby practice, and we
Yeah.
both get half, that doesn't always play nicely.
Oh, a rugby practice is bleeding over.
And eating the cake.
I actually-
don't know. Those kids' birthday parties
I don't,
get pretty
Wow.
raging.
no, and I actually hate saying that, because our local rugby club is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think I had nominated them, they didn't get picked for an award last year, like, because they started a girls program, they started a youth program, and they've like volunteered at events. They're great with kids. If they were at your kid's birthday party, they would elevate it. They'd be like, you guys want to come learn rugby? Like, they're so good with the community, so I don't like that I used that example. But, I think that's just I think a drop curtain could open that up as a revenue source of saying, promoting, hey, we do offer half-time rentals. And then also, I know it doesn't help with figure skating, but another thing we did with the MPF, the multi-purpose facility, was we were running into issues with like how to utilize it in the summer, which sits there empty. And there were some stuff where KPHA would rent it out and use it, but we didn't have a set structure thing in place. And we did notice when we turn on the lights, our costs do go up with utilities and everything. So we actually added a fee, and it's not outstanding. I think it's $25 an hour, where that facility could be rented. There's restraints and timelines
Oh, I think
sometimes.
you'd mentioned that on the tour,
Yeah.
like you talked about using it for like a flea market or
Someone talked
something.
about that, so and that's just another one of those multi things that I know people have talked to the chamber about, like, hey, could we do like a little market in here? Once, we toured it with the 4-H once, because they were doing 4-H in the Soldotna rink, and that was interfering with ice in the summertime.
Oh,
And I think they wanted to stick with Soldotna, but we're like, hey, these are the potentials here. You know, we have running water bathrooms, we have these we have these locker rooms, we have if you really wanted to go in on because they'll set up educational classrooms, you could talk to the Challenger Center right there, they have space available. Like, I think there could be a really cool potential to bring this event to Kenai. And it was us trying to work in concert, because we said we weren't gonna provide ice
oh,
earlier.
it's their leadership conference. I know what you're talking about.
The 4-H.
the 4-H leadership conference.
where they have
Yeah.
animals and,
Yeah.
yeah, well, and what
Yeah.
we were running into is like, hey, we're not gonna, and I think we ended up doing summer ice in August one more time. But we were like, hey, we're not gonna do this in the future in this month, but hey, if Soldotna's down to do ice, come talk to us about, it was kind of us trying to work in concert with Soldotna.
Right,
And they were like, oh, that would be great, but they were in contract, but it was that group of being like, hey, we could move this here, and then you could support youth hockey, and we could support 4-H here.
right.
And now that we have a fee that I don't think is outstanding with that, like, if you did an 8-hour flea market, I think you could make $25 an hour. We were playing around with 50, 25, like, and we just implemented this, so it's all new. We have kinks to work out.
Could you use it as an indoor, or like a, it's not really indoor/outdoor, I don't know what to call it, semi-indoor venue? I mean, like, similar to like the Wednesday music at the park or whatever, I mean, you could have food trucks outside. Could you have,
That
because
was,
the weather here stinks a
that was,
lot.
that was the flea market discussion, like, man, like, they were like,
Chamber
oh,
had talked about.
not to copy Wednesday in the park. Like, I think trying to, like, pull from that
It's
on,
Thursday in the parking lot.
no, or,
No.
or, and I think that's like where, like, okay, we'd work with the chamber or any group, like, the person who runs Wednesday Market is a private person, and their parks department supports them. Like, the Soldotna Chamber gets the music,
Through the Levitt.
Levitt.
yeah,
Mhm.
but then it's,
But not during the day.
the
It's not
owners
like
of
during
Hot
the
Dog
day.
a la
Yeah,
carte.
it's a net via.
Yeah, Annette runs that, so, and then the Soldotna Parks and Rec, what they really work on is, and what I think we work on with a lot of community groups, is supporting some of these independent groups that want to
Annette
do
was
that.
looking for a new place to do it, though. I mean, not a new place to do what they're doing there, but to do her thing, because I forget what it was, but some of the vendors she wanted to work with weren't able to, there was a lot of
Well,
requirements.
she tried that here though, but
She
that
did, but she
lot-
lost that space. So she was looking for a new place to do what she was wanting.
Telling that she can rent the ice rink for 25. But I mean, things we haven't done, like,
Actually, that's a really great idea.
Yeah.
I will pass it on to her.
no, do that. Things we that we haven't explored are like, when they used to do stuff inside the ice rink at Soldotna, we just haven't done this in a number of years. They usually pull boards to meet ADA requirements, like, what are our options to making sure we can do minimal, I don't wanna say minimal work, but minimum damage and minimal reset as we get into our busy summer season. But it could be like, hey, you know what? Once a week, there's gonna be this really cool thing at the NPF, and we're gonna support that by X, Y, Z, so. It's not, again, it's a big warehouse. It's nothing crazy pretty. We don't have, like, I know, the Soldotna Ice Rink, and they used to do events, they have piping, a million miles of pipe and drape. We don't have that, but I also think there's a factor of,
Get what you get when you're paying $25.
well, no, you get what you get, but make it good. Like,
Well,
I,
McKiskey did that. They did, they're doing, their McKiskey days. It's huge. But a part of it was in their rink, and their rink's,
Outdoor.
yeah.
no, it's just like ours, it's,
Inside,
yeah,
no ice.
minus we have refrigeration.
Yeah.
I don't know how their bathroom, I don't remember their bathrooms. I haven't played hockey there since I was like 17.
They do not have bathrooms.
Yeah, do you have to go to the pool to use the bathroom? God, I spent so much
Or
time
not
there.
Was there
Or
not, is there
North
not a
Shore, but
toilet
the
like out by the locker
elementary.
rooms?
I'm trying to think.
It's so
if
funny,
that
I
It's
makes
too
sense.
cold when you're there for games, so you just.
Also, I just would have ran to the woods.
I think they do have a bathroom. They have a
It is
bathroom at the
Alaska,
back of the
right.
building. They
Yeah.
have bathrooms at the back of the building.
They
They do.
must have their changing rooms then. too.
Well, yeah, they have, warming huts.
Yeah, because I've played multiple hockey games there and everything. And
Well, yeah, my boys played there. I had my own chair because I did the video and they took an old lifeguard chair and put it on the side of the rink and I videoed the game.
Okay, so we got the recap. So I can't promise what would go into the, oh, that's the only other thing is, I guess I talked myself into this because I don't think this number is, I'd like to see what I can do with this number and then see if there are other ways to do it. Because it is a park, and I think we've gotten feedback on it was used, but I'd be curious on some of the stuff you said, like, is this investment what we want to see?
And I
Now,
don't mean to be, Debbie Downer, but I mean, just from a
because
practical point of view.
I think our previous conversations with the commission, that I think Michael was on, and Savala was on, was the city as itself met with a bunch of different community groups and they talked about what would it look like. And it was because they saw usage and they wanted to see increased usage and a possible Comanche partnership and Salamatoff partnership. Sandy Kay was there, I think, representing Salamatoff. Tell me if I'm saying that wrong.
No, you're right.
Okay. Is it Salamatoff or Salamantoff? Because I have.
Salamatoff.
There's no end.
There is no in, so just, okay.
Salamatoff.
Okay, cool. Where there was support for it, but I'd be curious to say, hey, the Parks Commission kind of discussed it, and I was like, is that number worth that investment? Because I would say from our discussions, it would say it's worth something there. There's something that's value in that property, but maybe it's not as heavy as an investment.
Now, just so I know what we're talking about, you've got the Arts Center, all those apartments over here, and it's kind of there?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that was a public park. I mean, I don't have little kids, but still, I go by there all the time.
And then just one last thought on this, I think that it's important that we not discredit the fraction of a percent of people that had input on the plan, because I think a lot of times those are the folks that care. And
Yeah.
so, you know, it's important, I think, that we validate the fact that 80 to 100 people in our community came out and
Yeah, and
Yeah, I'm not
Support.
discrediting the
No.
feedback that they offered, but, you know, lots of people are really busy living life and who are using, like, I think back to when my kids were little, I would not have had the time to fill that survey out. I mean, I would have seen it and been like, oh, okay, sure, add that to the list. And we were using parks and stuff all the time. I just think a lot of times the squeaky wheels are the ones that get the oil, and those are usually the ones that have something to say. And not to discredit their opinions or their input, but to just consider that 80 or 100 people are the voice of 80 or 100 people, not 7,000. That's
Right.
just my,
yeah, and to go along with that, and within this group even, 5 of us is like an even smaller fraction
Yeah.
of
Yes.
the percent of the 80 to 100,
yep,
7,000.
And I want to stress too, and I think sometimes it's hard as a director, it's hard in the public process, but man, we went hard on that survey. Like, I think we provided free food at the chamber.
I couldn't go to those.
Yeah,
It was because of the time of year.
Yeah,
like,
no.
And when because I was sharing it on my social media as well, and several people were kind of saying the same thing, like, you know, oh, we've got this going on, that, it was just the time of
And
year.
life gets busy, and that's where though, I'm glad people at least have heard about it. And I know we didn't do it with this project, but it's been a big focus of Kenai's to get even feedback on community stuff. And I think they just put out a bid to get a statistically valid survey. And, you know, one of the things I think their consultants were saying is, how do we get it's gotta be quick, gotta be short, we gotta keep people's attention, you know, it's TikTok now, 10 seconds is how long you get, and so it's interesting to hear that feedback.
I don't know if you can go in with this group, but something I look at a lot, and it's on Facebook, is all of the different events that are available. And a lot of people look at that. If you could somehow incorporate the contact information somewhere in that, I think a lot more people would see it.
And
I
it would
think a
come
lot of-
up too in your.
Yes, I think a lot of people just don't think to look far enough to find a contact. They notice things, but they don't readily have a way to contact, and they don't go look for it.
No, I know, and that's what I liked that as we, you know, there's different standards on social media. I think the one we try to follow is, you know, you don't want to do there's an argument of like, we don't want to do more than one post a day or more than like this many a week, or there's different metrics, but we post our schedule, we make sure we do a weekly trails update, but then we do look for content to promote our rec center and stuff like that. And it'd be really easy to make a flyer or something that promotes our contact and have that and market it on social media, but also on other places, and let people know. And on our, we've been doing radio campaigning for the last year.
Pay to advertise it for a little bit, so then that will show up on more people's feeds, and that would generate more likes, and then overall, you'll get more views because it will show up in their feed. Because I actively go look for certain things
Mhm.
for Parks and Rec or the library, and I have to go dig sometimes, and they're not showing up, and I think that's what you're saying. The
One of the
events do.
things that I noticed, and it had to do with that slight complaint I'd heard about the wildflower park. It came out, and I'm sure it was on Facebook, about go look at the beautiful wildflowers
I saw
that
that,
are
mhm.
at the height of their bloom right now. And that was there for several days, I think. And
Everybody's just different. That's.
why could you not slide in and promote different parks and trails and things like that? Do it on Facebook in that positive way and slide in the contact information.
Oh, if you have any questions, do that. And that, no, and that
Yes.
makes sense as well.
Yes.
I find it amazing, not with us, not with Parks and Rec specifically, but I'll see something and I want to put that on my calendar. I'll be darned if I gotta dig and dig and dig and dig to get the date and the time. Maybe the date's there, but the time's not, or it's buried. And it just seems like, there's really only 4 important messages here.
Who, what, why, when, where, how.
Yeah.
I
But the
used to-
Harvest Festival has been all over. I've seen it in lots of different places and lots of different ways on Facebook. So whatever you're doing with that is working.
I was on paternity leave for a long time, so Jenna has been crushing it.
Yeah, so.
Oh, and I will
it's been
also say,
everywhere.
she's been really good. I started and our follower count was at like 500, where then it got to 1,000 and then it got up to 2,000 Jenna there. So we're out of 7,000 people, that actually starts getting up to a pretty, and it's still growing, and it's getting up to a more significant amount of number. But I'm glad Harvest Festival, and that has
I
been.
think it's also listed as an event though, that would go to further your point.
Oh, yeah, we have it as an event,
So,
and
but events show up differently.
even in our city calendar. And then we have an administrative working group too, that's been working the last year to make sure everyone's been sharing their best practices. Because the library has a different group, we have a different group, and like,
I think the library kind of kills it with social media.
no, and they do, if
They
you
do.
post it on
They do really good.
the city calendar, that will show up in Google sometimes. Like if you.
If you're looking for something specific.
Well, no, like if you Google, there was a time when I Googled Harvest, I was testing them. And in our city calendar, I, had just like annual Fall Pumpkin Festival. And like brief details, and a picture of the flyer, and then like a link to the Facebook event. And when I Googled it, that's what came up, not the Facebook event and not that. So just another way to get it.
Yep.
October 11th, noon to 3. Pumpkin. All the pumpkins.
And they just blew up the gigantic one in the gym. I saw the picture.
Yes, it was so much bigger than I thought.
And it looked cool.
Oh, it's gonna be an eye catcher, if it's not blowing a million miles an hour.
But it'll draw people in that didn't think about it either, like the kites do at the kite festival.
No, it'll be really cool.
Or terrifying. It's a fine line. It's a really big jack-o'-lantern.
When you say blowing up, exploding?
Inflating it.
No,
Inflating.
yeah, inflating it. I
Oh,
think
okay.
it took just shy of 30 minutes to inflate. Yeah, this is big. Like, I don't think there's not another location that we could have put this up in. Like, not our city, like our city shop maybe, but not our Park and Rec shop.
We just had all the inflatable dinosaurs and everything they have. We had a relay at our convention up in Girdwood this last week. Oh my God, that is the
That's
most
in the
hilarious
gym
thing.
for scale.
Like, do you have like a
Wow.
privacy screen on?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like,
Yeah,
your
none of
phone,
your business.
I was like, your
Don't do it.
phone's off. Because I was about to say your screen's off, but no,
No.
you're gonna look directly at it.
Yeah, no, I saw, I was like, oh my God, that's big. Yeah, I mean, the basketball hoop behind it is like,
What are
yeah,
you gonna do with it? Is it just staying there?
it's gonna sit there and look pretty.
What?
No, that was just a test to see
Yeah.
what it looked like, because
Where are you putting it?
Pumpkin Festival.
But
Out
until
in the
then,
field.
No, you just deflate it, you just
I
tested
know.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
is it like put it on the roof?
Right?
Get some use out of it.
Put it on the
those
roof.
those planes will come in real low, you
Yeah.
see a giant jack-o'-lantern up there.
Well, that'll get us to go by. It's a giant pumpkin flies through Kenai.
Causing
Mass.
havoc.
60 knot winds blow and take giant pumpkin off to airport.
I mean, there's worse things to be famous for.
For sure.
Actually, you can make some cool TikToks with that, and then I can
There
get
you
you on the
go.
map too. You know?
You get yourself up there with Homer Police Department.
Oh,
There's
Homer-
Stewart Highway.
Yeah,
Stewart
but we
Highway's
don't
been
have a
pretty
Ryan
famous.
Browning,
No.
so.
Homer Parks and Rec had a good summer one summer where they, I don't think we would condone it anymore, but they were going like, you want to, because they're under Public Works there, but they were just hiring seasonally. And they're like, we love to have fun. And then they had like in gasoline on fire at night, now hiring, and the entire crew in the background doing crazy stuff. And you were like, oh, right on. All right. Well, Michael's now opening up public comments. Oh, there's bam.
Are there any members from the public who would like to address the committee at this time?
There is one person watching.
That might be us.
That's, does it say host me?
Yeah. Oh, I think that's us.
I don't know.
I didn't see anyone ever raise their hand.
I mean, on YouTube, so.
Oh, I see bottom left, it
Yeah.
says one watching now.
That could also
Probably
be,
your wife.
Probably.
I mean, there's
I'm gonna
also a
find
chance
out.
that is us, so. I don't know how that works. I'll have to look into the next council meeting. Usually there's a couple people watching during council meetings.
Is it you? Oh, no, this isn't.
It's about to be.
I wanna see what the number does.
Watch this. See how long it takes.
It shows
It's
up right
quite the
away.
delay.
I don't know how that works. I have to follow. Usually there's a Well, we know the audio is working.
Well, the number didn't change,
I gave it a thumbs up.
Okay.
but the number at the bottom didn't change.
Yeah, there was no.
Okay. The person just got really freaked out. They're like, I gotta get out of here. All right, so,
See me in my mom's basement.
there's no one on wishing to speak, so we can adjourn.
Okay, so guess we'll adjourn this meeting.
See ya.
Thank you.